Hello, hello, all my fabulous and phenomenal fempreneurs. I am so glad to have the privilege to have you here with me today. And we're going to talk on a very hot topic. I call it Where to Begin When Starting a New Business. And this topic is going to be hot for those of you that have already started a business and are not seeing the growth that you had expected when you were new and fresh and so enthusiastic about starting your online business. So, this is going to address some issues for both entrepreneurs in these categories. And I want to just jump right into it. And if I'm calling you out, so be it. And if you feel me, so be it. We're going to have a discussion follow up about this shortly afterward. So, let me start by saying, in my observations and experience with building a business over the last 3 years, I want to tell you what the number one killer of building a business is: indecision. I like to get people to repeat with me when I'm teaching confidence talks. Indecision. Let's say it in your mind one more time. Indecision. And I see this time and time again with us as women, whether it be in the workplace, whether it be in school or university, or whether it is now when you're starting an online business. Staying in a state of indecision will kill your business faster than lack of resources, lack of funds, or any other things that you might encounter in your entrepreneur journey. The reason for this, well, it's already well known fact that most men will apply for a job that they're underqualified for, while women who are overqualified for it won't apply. And the statistics is like 60%. The men are 60% qualified for the job before they go for it, and the women will wait till they are 100% or more before they show up. And there's a lot of talk about lack of confidence and imposter syndrome. But before we get into that, I want to get straight down to it. What is going on with us ladies that makes us think about the first step to take again and again and again? All right. So, one of the things I want to express and discuss with you is about the technology. Because when you start an online business, there's a lot. There's a lot of pieces, a lot of moving pieces that have to be kept up with. And a lot of those involve learning new apps and new technology. And I want to address that in a follow up conversation. But we can get started on our businesses with minimal technology as long as we are ready to start. And let me give you an example. I have been a part of a number of entrepreneurship communities, no names right now, where women start their business by creating an ad. And in that ad, we create a banner that tells people what our business is about or what our masterclass is talk is going to be about. And I have seen women get into these mastermind groups or coaching sessions and ask, what about this wording? Or what about that wording? And while it's good to get a lot of feedback, when is it time to cut out the feedback, go with your intuition, and just post it and see how people respond? You see, it's good to get some feedback when you start, but don't spend more than a month, okay? And I'm stretching it. I would say maximum set a deadline for 2 weeks before you finish that banner and just post it somewhere. You can post it where on Facebook, you can post it where your friends and family can see it and see how people respond. If the response is low, then as women, we can intuitively recognize that something is not quite right here and start moving forward and change a few of the words. But start. Okay, in this way, you've already started in the 2 week time frame because I have seen more than enough women for a year. I mean, a whole year asking, are these the right words to catch my audience? Now, when I mentor, I do assist people with wording. I like to call myself a wordsmith. But getting stuck in just looking at the words over and over and over again is not going to get the word out there. So I think the best thing that you can do is set for yourself a deadline of 2 weeks to get on Canva. I'm actually preferring another free app, which is called Snappa. And I find it does the excellent job of resizing. And it's free. Canva is free as well. But I do find that Snapper gives me a better sizing and the cutoff areas that I need to see in Facebook because I find myself resizing and resizing again Facebook covers in Canva because, well, maybe just on my desktop it looks totally different and half the words are getting cut off. So one of these days I'll do a demo on that for you. But post anything. Just say something. Tell people, and this is even a better way of getting started. Tell people that I have a mission to help women or men, people with X, Y, Z. And see what the response is to a post like that. See who's looking for that help. Find out what kind of words they used in that post. But please do not spend months and months and months creating the most perfect looking banner that no one sees for months and months and months. All right. So, key fact is confidence is built on taking action. Okay? So, I've structured it for you. Set a deadline, 2 weeks to create a simple banner or a simple Facebook post that tells people how you want to help them. And then move on the feedback from that and tell them how you're going to help them in the business. And time again, one of the keys to confidence is knowledge. And this is a way to fight back the imposter syndrome that's going to come for you. You're going to look around and compare yourself to everybody out there. I hope you don't, but it happens. You can compare yourself to women who have been in the game for years longer than you have. And you look at that and you look at all they've accomplished and you look at their branding and designs and their audience and you say to yourself, if I'm in the same industry, maybe I can't compete with that. Take those words out of your mouth. It's not about competition. It's about solving a problem. And the fact of the matter is, I'm going to just pull some words out there. Not everybody wants to learn from, okay, big shots. Sometimes people want to learn from the girl next door, which could be you. But when they find out that you have been through the same struggles that they have been through, and you can help them smooth the way to get to the next level, then you're the one whose door they're going to knock on. Now think about it for a minute. If you see someone whose their advertising is perfect, their videos are perfect, they've got like 10 of thousands of people following them on social media. Do you really want to send them a direct message? I mean, you can, and it'll probably get answered by a bot. And then you have a call with one of their people, and then they'll try to sell you something. But if you could just go to your neighbor who lives in the same street as you, who grew up in the same hood as you, um, and they can relate to you more, but they have the answer to your problem, why wouldn't you give them a call first? Okay. It's all about getting the answer to the problem. So, step one, decide who you have a desire to help. Step two, recognize the answer that you have, because knowing that you have that answer is how you build a confident message. Okay, people think that, and a lot of coaches try to make you think that a confident person is always confident 24/7, 365 days of the year. But that's not what it's about. Yes, I consider myself a confident person. And if you put me in the cockpit of a plane and tell me to fly that plane, I am confident that it will be your last flight because that's not my area of expertise. So think of it that way. You have an area of expertise. Maybe it's an airline pilot. Maybe it's a struggle that you went through. Maybe you were homeless. I have heard from so many um, entrepreneurs how they lived on the streets and struggled to find something to eat before they built their business. And that is part of their journey. And that is part of their brand. That is part of how they know how to get from 0 to 60. And you have something. You have something that other people don't have. You had a unique experience. So when you start crafting your brand, make sure you weave some of that story into it. Don't overdo it. You're not there to make people cry for you, but you can really drop a few nuggets of, hey, this is where I was and this is where I am now. All right. Let's talk a little bit about shiny object syndrome. I have another name for this. It's called shortcut syndrome. And I can say honestly, I'm guilty. You see, when you get online, and no matter how hard I try not to see them or where I look when I'm scrolling through my Facebook feed or Instagram, there is always somebody telling me that you can make hundreds of thousands of dollars with this one tip or this one trick. And trick it is. Because once you get into that, and trust me, I've subscribed to a lot of them, more than I care to even admit. I've subscribed to a lot of these shiny object coaches. And what I found is, yes, they have an area of expertise that they can teach you for a hefty price. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when it really comes down to it, that is just one facet of your business. It's very rare that you will get someone who has the time to teach you every facet. I mean, there is a reason why in marketing you have graphic designers, you have website designers, you have experts in social media, you have experts in networking, you have experts in even Zoom, any kind of tech. There is webinar setups. There is experts in every area of it. Why? Because it's complex. And as a longtime do-it-yourselfer in business, again, so many moving objects that have to connect to each other. And if one thing is off, it happened to me just the other week. My link, there was one what they call it, slash or something, word, a letter, something that was missing on a link that I emailed to hundreds. Way, yay! So, lesson learned, check and recheck those links when you cut and paste them. These things happen. And if you're not constantly keeping an eye on it or have a team of people to keep an eye on it, mistakes will happen. And that is, I guess, the core of what you need to understand in business is that your knowledge is going to get built on your mistakes. That's why you have a story. Your life got built on mistakes and brought you here now to where you are at a place that you're ready to open a business. And you think that business is going to be different from life and you're going to have no mistakes and it's just going to be smooth sailing and you're going to purchase this program and that program and go to this coaching session and get involved in this mastermind and they're going to tell you how to do everything perfectly the first time. Wow, they and myself can support you wholeheartedly in building that business. Only you see the vision clearly. Only you can give birth to this vision. And that takes time and dedication and perseverance. And you have to sit with it while it's crying all night and figure out what went wrong with that link and why this app is not working. And like that, like raising a child, you grow. So please don't spend 2 weeks in labor. It's too much. Oh, well, I did give you the deadline of 2 weeks. Don't spend 5 months in labor. So that's the first step. Getting it out there, getting the word out there. Anyway, anyhow, posts can be deleted and recreated. And you can get professional help. Graphic artists on Fiverr, some of the ones I use, cost about $10 to $15, which is not a lot. And sometimes I don't actually use the graphics that they give me. But what I've learned is how they have an eye for putting things, placing things in a way that people are more inclined to read it. And so I learn from them the spacing, the coloring, the structure. I still like to break the rules when I make my own ads, but there's so much to learn from someone who has been to school for that for years. And you just came along and spent, 10 hours playing with Canva, kind of wasting precious time when you could get the word out there. Think about that. So, next thing, you realize that you're here to solve a problem for people. And that's part of your messaging. So I advise you to find a group that has that problem. Now, a lot of the groups are coaching groups, and they don't allow you to advertise at all on their platform. And that's fine. But at least if you are in these groups, you can start to see or hear, like putting your ear to the ground, what their struggle is. Now, let me give you an example. Um, hmm, Maybe you can give me an example and then I can come back. People who do not have time to spend with their pet. And you are running a pet walking or play with the cats and dogs business. So you join this pet lovers group and you get ideas of how to market to them. You want the language that they're using. You want to connect with them and empathize with them. Oh no, you don't have time to spend with your pet. This is something that I empathize with. Maybe you can't just directly say this is my business. But that will get you started faster because what you need, the first thing you need to do when you are building a business is to find your tribe. Now, they may not be all in the same place sitting together, but when you start doing your research, getting online, looking at these Facebook groups that have complaints about the problem you solve, and also email it in your community, organizations that work with people that have issues with the problem that you solve. Send them an email. Tell them you want to learn more about them. Don't just try to sell them right away. Become connected to that network. I'm telling you this because that's going to save you a lot of money in Facebook ads. And I definitely have to do a talk on Facebook ads because Facebook ads will run you dry. And I've just learned that the ad targeting that was available, well, I learned from my Facebook expert, the ad targeting that was available 4 years ago is no longer available now. And then I learned that this year, Meta is going to make that ad targeting even less effective. Don't ask why. So you won't be able to say things that directly target your audience in the way that ad targeting is supposed to do. So if you start looking for your tribe, all right, so let's summarize what we've talked about here today. Get rid of the indecision. Make a banner, make a post, throw it out there, see how people respond. This is how I want to help you. When you get that information, how people respond to that, it might not happen the first post. Post it 10 times, change the wording. This is how I want to help. Then when you get better with the wording, then you make a post. This is how I do help. Then you learn to tell your story. This is where I was, and now this is where I have arrived. Okay, you may not be a millionaire, but you've arrived further than the person, like I said, who was living on the street before. And they may want to come to you and talk to you because you are more approachable than the multimillionaire. Okay. Now, you need to find your tribe. You want to find more people like that. Go in your community because word of mouth is born. Go in your community or Facebook communities and find organizations that need that solution and kind of build relationships with the people in that organization and ask them if, hey, can I come and talk about this? Why? Because from my experience, there's warm ad targeting and there's cold ad targeting. And what you will be doing when you start spending on advertising is you will be doing a lot of cold ad targeting to build up your mailing list, and then you can warm ad target them with dozens of emails. But why not first start building your tribe in your own neighborhood or with connections that you know? Be friendly, okay? You don't need to stay in the pool of other coaches who are trying to do very similar things in their wording. What makes you different? That story is going to make you unique. And then you reaching out to people nearby is really going to start not only building your tribe, your brand, but it's going to build your confidence when you start talking about the knowledge that you have based on the experiences you had. Okay, now this is going to be harsh. I'm wrapping it up now. Get out of those masterminds that don't support you. And I mean a group of people who are living in indecision in their business. And you ask them, what color should my banner be? Should it be red? Should it be blue? And 50% of them say red is eye catching. And the other 50% say blue is more common and more popular. Yes, that is true. So how are you going to decide? Are you going to go to the next group and ask them the same question, and the next mastermind and ask them the same question? Unless they are experts in banners. You see what I'm getting at? Sometimes having the support of a mastermind group is fabulous. But if the people in that group are no farther along in their business than you are, they are just giving you words. They're not speaking as the people that you are trying to attract to your business would speak. So you've got to find your way. Don't shortcut shiny object syndrome and think that this trick program and that trick program is going to do it. You have to find your way to your tribe. So go to bed, meditate, lay down, spin around, whatever it is you do to get clarity, and ask yourself, how am I going to connect with my tribe? What is the fastest way for me to connect with my tribe? And meditate on that. What is the fastest way for me to connect with my tribe? Now, Facebook groups are great, but they are private. And if you have sisters, a lot of entrepreneur sisters, you're going to be joining a lot of groups and you're not going to be able to see what everybody is posting. So getting a one-on-one with a TED Talk group, or I'm just riffing, Toastmasters group, which is in my industry, which is coaching public speaking. Those are the ways that you are starting to network with people who need your solution. So, for lack of more examples, I'm going to throw it out there to you and let you come back to me and tell me who you want to help and your brainstorm of who you can talk to. Who can you write an email to? Yeah, I'm going to get down nitty gritty with it. Well, who can I write an old fashioned email and say, hey, I know your group does this with women. How can I support you? And then you get involved in that group and you start booking speaking gigs with that group, or you get the manager of that group to help you connect to speaking gigs. And that's where I come in. I coach you into speaking. But you're starting to find your tribe, because I can tell you 3 years in with all kinds of mastermind and all kinds of women's group, and we're all sitting here on Facebook saying, where is our clients? Go back to old school. Knock on some doors, pick up the phone, make some phone calls, send an old-fashioned email of introduction, and connect with people outside of the virtual world who are looking for your solution. That's where you get started. And that's where you save time and money and energy, which is the main thing. Tap now. Why did I do that? I don't know. I just random.